So, hello everybody. Your characters tonight have been enlisted and joined together to do a vampire heist. Your target is a 1,000-year-old powerful kindred artifact kept in the um, castle home and haven of a powerful Tzimisce in Eastern Europe, in Romania. Uh, you the security that surrounds this place is a house full of loyal servants, well paid guards, ghoul dogs, a handful of protective childer. Um, the artifact that you're stealing it for Prince Kevin Jackson of Chicago, who has offered to pay you extremely generously for it. You've also discovered that the best time to do this is probably during the auction. The owner of this artifact apparently intends to auction it off at a very large party, opulent party for full of kindred, to be hosted in a few nights' time. Um, we are gonna skip ahead a little bit. I'm actually going to borrow a concept from the game Blades in the Dark. And because this is a heist game, and because it's also a one shot, I don't want to get bogged down with planning too much. So basically, all of you get three, um, we'll call them scheme points, or flashback points, where you can spend one of them or up to three of them to flash back and say, actually, no, I had a plan to deal with this. And then based on what you want to say, oh, no, I set it up so that I actually had lockpicks in my pocket the whole time, or I actually bribed the guard at the kitchen door. Sort of thing. Based on what you want to do, I'll determine how many of your points that would cost. You spend them, and then we say that that happened, or you roll if you need to determine whether or not you were able to pull that off successfully. That way, we don't get bogged down too hard, but there's also a limit, so you can't do it endlessly.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure style.
um. So, did you guys want to reintroduce who your characters are?
Sure.
Do you want to start, Jeanette?
Oh boy, sure. So I am playing the Ventrue, Cornelius O'Connor. Uh, I am. I think I was turned about 90 years ago, I believe it was. I used to work back in the day in the stock exchange before everything went terrible on this one horrible day. Um, I like numbers. I like money. I like using that kind of thing to broker deals with other people. And I kind of just like the creature comforts in life. So I look like I'm about 30 years old still, because that was about how old I was when I was turned into a vampire. So
Okay. And then what skills do they have that helps where they sit in this sort of group?
skill wise, pretty charismatic and quick on my feet. Also, I'm handy with a firearm, and I figure numbers don't hurt too much when you're trying to broker your way in to steal something from an auction. But yeah, mostly like that. I'm pretty good talker, and I'm good at reading other people as well. So I bring a little of the people skills to the party.
Okay. Kev, do you want to go next?
Alright, so I'm playing Farkas, a Gangrel. They're muscle for hire, so essentially you need a job done. They'll go and be a little less subtle than most, but they know when to back off if necessary, so they don't cause too much of a scene. And essentially, what they bring to the party is they are the you know, big tanky kind of guy who would just take the damage, deal some out, and also good at driving so that they can drive fast. So basically a combination of the muscle and the wheelman if needed. And they have a bonded Tzimisce, which is a very large dog.
Is it a dog or a wolf?
Yes.
And then Saege, you want to go last?
No.
Please do, though.
Damn it. All right, I'll try my best. Dexterius. Dex. The character name. Sorry. I'm already off to a bad start. So Tremere, information broker. They try to do things with as much subtlety and subterfuge as absolutely possible and try to get the dirt on anyone and anything that they're trying to accomplish or deal with. I can't remember how they look, so I'm just going to make it quick and easy. They look like they walked straight out of the Matrix with platinum blonde slick back hair. Think Spike from Buffy meets Matrix meets Neo.
Okay.
I don't know where to go from there.
That's fine. I know they have a couple of points in technology. How do they use that to better these sort of heists and missions that you go on with the rest of the coterie?
Most likely hacker. If I've got information, I most likely would be using it at any and every corner possible. So hacking, camera checking, information dumps. They'd probably be on mid-mission and start downloading data that is not required for the mission that they're on just to save it for later.
Okay. So I will say that we will open with you guys approaching Castle Corvin in Romania, that you know to be owned by the Tzimisce kindred named Rosalia Markovicia. Oh, hang on, I have a thing.
We are recording this. You may not want to whip it out on stream.
Okay, all right. Oh, where'd it go?
That's not what you want to hear.
I had a background that would have worked really well. Oh, there it is.
No, you put that back in Barovia where it came from.
Not actually Barovia. So the castle that you guys find yourselves at is probably about half a mile or so outside the nearest village, which is incredibly small and rural. Out here, you know that this far outside of the village and this close to the castle, pretty much anybody you run into is very likely well aware of what kindred can do and quite possibly ghouled by the owners and those living within the castle. Approaching, you can see that there is obviously a very tall wall that surrounds the entire castle with the one road leading into it, upon which are all manner of vehicles, including limousines, sports cars, a straight up horse-drawn carriage at one point. And as you guys enter, you can see that although the architecture itself is very much original, you can easily spot little red dots of security cameras dotted all over the place. The entrance is flanked by 2 armed guards, which is actually kind of interesting because in Europe, it's a lot harder to get firearms than it would be, say, back home in the States. As you guys see others starting to get out of these vehicles, you can very clearly see, being a kindred exclusive event, the masquerade is kind of optional tonight. As in, they're dressed as opulently and as iconic to the period they were embraced as possible. There are a handful of getting out of the carriage. You see is a woman in this just immaculate, gorgeous ball gown that looks like it probably would have fit in about 400 or 500 years ago, more so than obviously now. Um, Joined by another kindred and potentially another kindred and a couple of servants, it seems. The stairs that go up to the front door are lined with lanterns. Anything you guys want to do before you head in?
Well, since it's a posh event, Cornelius steps out of the carriage that we're riding in, and I'm wearing a very dapper pinstriped gangster suit from the 1920s.
Wait for the carriage to stop.
No, this is fine. Also, I've got, instead of a tie, I wear a bow tie. That's and the suit is sort of this almost burgundy red with white pinstripes, and I've got one of my caps, kind of on that matches it, and I just gently leap down from the carriage as it comes to a stop and look back, and I'm like, see, no problem.
Sorry, I just imagined we were going full speed is when you decided to step out.
Yeah, that's the best time to step out of a carriage. So, what's the plan, gents?
I am here to punch things if needed.
That's fair. You good at driving a carriage if we have to leave fast?
Yes.
You could probably
good.
pull it.
Bro, you did. That's fair too. Looks
I'll
like
talk to the horses and tell them to be ready.
Not what I meant, but glad it works.
I will say, actually, as you get out, Farkas, and look around, you can see that. So the area where you guys arrived, it's mostly just that road, a little bit of like grass and a few bushes, and then up to the castle. But there is a much larger courtyard that extends around the other side of the castle, and you can see like flashlights moving in the distance, and occasionally in the light of those flashlights, a handful of other guards, and it looks like most of them have dogs with them.
Now, question: what do we know about size and things of the artifact we're trying to leave with? Do we have an idea of that going inside?
So you know that the true vessel, is what it's called, is a... Give me a second. I gotta pull up my notes right. It's a small, like, earthenware jar. Probably only holds about like a pint of vitae or so, and is sealed with beeswax. So it would be hard to conceal in a pocket, but easy enough to conceal in like a bag.
Fair enough.
But you do know that it will undoubtedly be under heavy guard.
So the question is, are we going to wait for someone to pay for it and take it as they're trying to leave with it, or are we going to take it before it even hits the auction block?
Yes.
Helpful. I like your style.
Well,
Probably-
you're blue blood. You have no money.
Yeah, a little bit.
It'd be stupid to plan a heist and then just buy it. The point is not having to waste our money, much less anyone else's, on getting it.
Well, if we buy it for less than what we are getting paid, profit.
Right. Anyways, the best way to do this would probably be just as they're getting ready to present it for auction. It'll be out in the open, probably the easiest to snatch just right off the plate.
In front of everybody.
And before it goes on auction, while it's
Oh.
still backstage.
So, like, when we know it's coming up, we're going to move in and take it.
That would be my guess.
Fair. So what do we think? Obviously through the front door. And then...
You do also see that there are several, like, balconies. It looks like on the second floor. The castle is maybe about 4 stories high or so. And On the second floor up, almost every couple of what look like possibly large rooms does have a small balcony. So if you had a way down, that may be another exit out.
In through the front, out through a window. I look from one to the other. Go in, mingle, see what the layout is, figure out where they keep things, and get ourselves positioned to snatch, and figure out the best way. We probably won't want to go out the door we come in, so figure out the best way to access other exits.
I can probably look into the video surveillance and be able to pinpoint the guards' movements, find an exit, and shut down all the cameras all at once.
See, that's why I like you. You think. Smart on your feet.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
I would never know that. Not from looking at you. Here. And I kind of fix your tie.
Matrix clothes, no tie. I have a
I'm not that
ballistics vest. That's about as best as I've got.
I pretend to fix your tie. Then I tap you on the cheek.
You sure you're not Malkavian?
Pretty sure.
So heading in, you can see that the entire interior is lit by a mix of very well-made, like integrated electric lights, and then also candles everywhere, including one very elaborate, beautiful crystal chandelier that looks to be lit with with like natural candles. A gorgeous marble floor and stairway that curls up and around to the next couple of floors, and the entire room is just packed with dozens and dozens of guests. Some are very obviously kindred. You do recognize a handful of Nosferatu. And then others that seem to be holding drinks of the iconic red color. And a handful of individuals wandering around that look to be very clearly servants, probably ghouls, including one that is standing near the door that when you first see them, you had assumed that it was a pair. But when they turn, you see that it is two humanoids that have sort of been stitched together. And are both holding among their four arms a very large book and pen that they are writing down the names of everyone that enters. You guys know that the owner of this castle, whose name I wrote down, Lady Rosalia, is a Tzimisce and a practicer of what is called flesh crafting, a discipline that allows one to do exactly what it sounds like: shape the flesh of others into whatever you need it to be.
If I see a squat Italian plumber, I'm going to kill him. Broad daylight or not.
Noted.
Thankfully, we do not have to use the toilets.
When you guys enter, and they see you approach, name?
Yes.
The second head just sort of looks down and looks to the book and just points.
I am Farkas.
They write your name down.
Okay.
I kind of smile and I say, Liam O'Sullivan.
Very well. I'll say, go ahead and make a subterfuge and charisma roll for me.
All right. So, and the dice are which ones again?
The dice are D10s.
All right.
However many dots you have, or however many tens you get, and a 6. Tell me however many dice you get that is a 6 or higher.
All right, so subterfuge I get 2, and charisma I get 3, so I get a total of 5. So let's see, 6 or higher. Well, all right. Oh, I got 1 dice over a 6.
Okay. The flesh-crafted servant, who you guys may know the name of, or know what these creatures are called. Shalata, I think is how you say that. Does not seem to react at all. And the 2 guards on either side of the door that are dressed in suits, who don't have visible weapons there, but are probably packing something, do sort of take a look at you guys, but don't react. Don't seem to notice that it's a fake name. And what name does Dex give them?
Thomas Anderson.
Go ahead and make your deception as well. Deception or subterfuge and charisma.
Okay. Subterfuge. Give me just a moment. I'm Subterfuge 2, charisma. Okay, subterfuge is 2, charisma is 3. I do what, +5 on the dice?
Nope. You roll 5d10 and tell me which, however many dice you get that is a 6 or higher.
I don't know if I have that many. I am so sorry. I'm very unprepared. I thought we were running on a system of D6s. You know what? Screw that. Give me 1 second. I'm jumping to my roller.
Yeah.
I don't actually have that many D10.
V5 is much lighter on the amount of dice pools than V20 is, or werewolf.
Okay.
I think at one point the highest dice pool we had last night was like 12 dice.
Wow. Okay, that is 3 of the 5 are above 6.
Okay. Cool. They do not seem to react at all. They take it in stride, write your name down, and move on to the next group behind you.
Wonderful.
Coming into the room, Farkas, an individual wanders over to you, looks to be one of the servants, and the shirt that he has is sort of unbuttoned slightly, and you can see a very thin, what looks like tube coming from inside the shirt and down the arm and out to he has a serving tray with a glass on top of it and a little tube that drips vitae into it. Well, blood rather. A drink? Good, sir?
No, thank. I am a vegetarian.
Can I smack him?
Moves to offer the same to Cornelius and Dex.
Vegetarian means I feed from animals.
I really want to smack him.
It's what we call it.
I'm going to politely decline.
I can't believe that never occurred to me how fucking weird that is, that they call it vegan.
Yeah.
That's actually a thing in the book, that they call it that.
I think they changed the name to something else in later versions, but yes, originally called vegan because they don't feed from humans. It's weird.
Okay.
Do I get a sense of, like, do I know what blood type this is that they're offering?
So there is a thing that you can do for that based on your clan. Ventrue Bane. Go ahead and roll a resolve and awareness to see if you can determine if they are within your blood type.
Resolve and awareness. All right, so resolve is 2 and awareness is 1. So I'm getting 3 dice out of this. Here we go. Oof, nothing above a 6.
Okay. You're not sure.
I just give a nod and say, no, thank you, not right now.
Oh, note, all of you are currently at 1 hunger.
Ooh, okay.
Which is just usually the baseline of that's as low as you can go unless you've killed your last meal.
Killed a human, by the way.
Yes.
So I can't do it by killing a dog.
So, I believe Dex wanted to try and locate a way to access the cameras, correct?
Correct.
How do you want to do that?
Very carefully. Is there Wi-Fi? Do they have a closed system? Is there an ether port somewhere?
So you're probably not going to be able to plug right into it super obviously. You would either have to have some kind of like portable computer with you that might be able to do it remotely, or you would have to actually find like a control room. Based on the fact that the tech here is advanced for the environment, it is still kind of old-fashioned. It probably is hardwired. It's probably not Wi-Fi enabled.
Then my first course of action would most likely find that fucking words. I hate that this is recorded. Probably find the control center.
Okay.
Possibly try to take out a guard and acquire it for myself.
All right. So to try and locate that, how is there any idea how you want to go about trying to find that?
Probably be easiest to tail the guards and any type of security personnel. Or if I'm smart enough, try and follow the wires for any of the cameras.
Okay. I'll say that to follow a guard would be wits and would be wits and awareness. And to try and trace where the most likely source would be based on wiring would be technology and I'll say technology and wits.
I think I will go with technology and wits then, because I've got a pretty high line on tech.
Okay.
Back to my roller. That's a total of 6 that time. Wow. Only 1 was below 6.
Oh, okay. So how many successes?
5.
Okay. So sort of keeping an eye, subtly wandering through the crowd and keeping an eye on exactly where these wires head. You do see that they lead to a section of the it's still on the ground floor, but it's sort of towards the back of the castle, towards where what were probably the kitchens, but doesn't seem to be getting a lot of action any longer, apparent for obvious reasons. And see a closed door that does have a like security panel lock next to it. Looks like they use key cards to get in.
Oh, look, my specialty.
You can see, however, still there are people wandering all around. You're not alone. There are fewer kindred in this section, though, and more what looks like servants coming in and out of the kitchen area.
Okay.
And then you can clearly see a closed door that they keep heading into and out of occasionally that is very clearly like a dining hall. It has a very long table covered in, that white tablecloth and candelabras all along it and everything.
Is there any way I can position myself to have an angle on the keypad, or is it a key card Like, do they punch in numbers, or does it actually just swipe and go?
It's a like a card reader. They don't swipe it through. It just
Electronic reader.
yeah.
Okay. In that case, I need to see what I can do for pickpocketing.
Meanwhile, Farkas and Cornelius, what would you like to do?
Can I jump in real quick with a question?
Mhm.
How are we all communicating on this? Do we have radios, cell phones? Is that something I should spend a scheme point on?
That we all made sure to have our cell phones handy.
Or some type of radio
I'll
device?
say if it's cell phones, then you don't need to spend a point for it. You just would have cell phones. If it's like very subtle, like in-ear devices, somebody would have to spend a point for that.
Pull out my ham radio.
Subtle. Very subtle. I'd say cell phones then. I mean, it's not like it's going to look out of place considering.
Pull out my old Nokia.
Careful with that. You may crush somebody's foot.
That would
Hey.
make a perfect trigger for a bomb.
It is like a backup hammer if I need one.
And it would survive the bomb.
It's true. So, what do you think, Farkas? I think maybe we should poke around and see where we think they're keeping this little jar we're looking for, and plan ahead for how we're acquiring it before it goes up on the auction block.
Yes. We can talk to some of the people here and see if they have actually got an idea. This is an auction, right? So I'll walk over to one of the servants.
Mhm.
Servant person. I would like the
Yes?
brochure of tonight's events where it lists when the auctions are starting
Absolutely. One moment.
and the description of every item that is up for auction. Maybe they have something good other than the one item we can bid on.
True.
So he disappears into the crowd, and just a second later appears surprisingly quietly behind you, with a stack of little printed brochures that list like the host's name again, what time the auction starts. It looks like the auction starts about there's the arrival time and welcoming, which you guys are at now. An hour later is dinner. And then about an hour after dinner is the auction. So you've got about an hour and a half or so before the auction. Some of the things listed are obviously the first one listed and the most iconic is the True Vessel. And it actually has like really well done photos of each one. Looks like they, took the time to get a good photographer in for them. Another interesting thing is what looks like a very simple brass sword that is titled Soul Razor. It describes that it was stolen from a Tremere chantry a few years ago and then acquired by Beckett and then acquired from Beckett by someone else.
That sword kicks a lot of brass.
And it said that anyone that comes into conflict with the wielder of Soul Razor does not survive to get past it. Another one that just looks like a sort of misshapen sheet of square of brass that is titled the Brass Heart Shield. It is a plate of metal that is, when inserted under the skin in a very painful procedure, deflects all non-magical stakes and cannot be removed without the owner being brought to true death. Another is a green glass jar that contains what is said to be a still beating heart called the Pumping Heart of Nicias, which once belonged to a powerful toreador, is said to bring good luck if kept in your haven.
Clearly, the person who had the other items taken didn't have this one.
A pair of black velvet gloves, said to have once been owned by a powerful Gangrel, that can effectively allow you to, when you activate them, they sprout long metal claws that can be used to deal significant damage without the need for certain disciplines.
That's nifty.
So they're from Lady Dimitrescu.
They're not quite that long, but you don't actually see what the claws look like. It's just the gloves in the photo.
Nice.
9-inch nails.
Get a head like a hole in your head, you know? Yeah.
I look at the fellow who brings us the brochures and I say, so is this a situation where if there's something we're personally very interested in possibly bidding on, is there a chance of inspecting the items beforehand, or is it a more of a no touch, no see before you get to see it on the auction block?
Much more of that one, unfortunately. Lady Rosalia is very protective and careful of all of the items that she's procured over the last several centuries, and
Oh, yeah, as she should be.
to ensure that they are kept as safe as possible before they go home with their rightful purchasers.
Indeed, indeed. Any insight on the talk of what's popular for the bidding?
Well, there are some that are obviously very interested in many different things. One of the more popular is this pumping heart. So there is a very strong debate on whether or not it can be proven to be effective. Though undoubtedly the star of the auction is the true vessel. There are a good many people that are interested in it, most primarily, however, the Hecate. Very interested in obtaining that.
Huh. Good to know, good to know.
If you want, one of you guys can roll. This would be intelligence and occult, I would say, for what you might remember about this item.
Ooh, 2 successes.
2 successes as well.
Sweet. Okay. So both of you know that it is said to hold the vitae and possibly even the soul of the Cappadocian Antediluvian, which is obviously the founder of another clan, who is rather famous because of the eternal struggle against Augustus Giovanni of Giovanni, is it, Kevin?
The Giovanni are part of the Hecate now.
Yeah. Augustus had spent several decades, if not centuries, attempting to diablerize his sire, the Cappadocian Antediluvian, and when he did manage to off him, he did not manage to consume his soul. So the potential that jar contains it would make it very valuable to anybody within his clan, as well to anybody that would want to stand in their way.
Nice.
Also means that if it's truly it contains a good amount of power.
That's why we can pay lots of money for this. So, well, let's start walking around and waiting for a signal that we might figure out where these items are held.
We'll give Dex a chance to figure out the video feeds, and
The signal may or may not be me accidentally setting off the alarm.
that's fair. Also, I'm keeping an eye on the servants, particularly those that I'm trying to figure out the ones that are actually going back and sort of handling the items and prepping for that. as just in awareness of like which ones they are in case of wanting to pilfer one of their outfits and take up their place at some point.
Okay. So looking around, you can see that it does seem like the servants are sort of split into a few different groups. There are the ones that are handling entertainment, some of which are offering blood seemingly of their own, and just seeing to the needs of anybody in this main area. And there are a couple over where you saw Dex head, which you believe are heading to the kitchens, obviously preparing for dinner. The guards who are dressed similarly, but also have pretty recognizable bulges indicating that they are armed, probably. As well as a small handful of individuals that seem to be slightly better dressed. That are working in the there's like a small ballroom off to the one side that is kept closed. And there is another guard standing there at that door guarding it, which is not something the other interior doors have, really. And it seems like a lot of the people going in and out of there are carrying like notebooks and pieces of paper and like tablets to keep track of a bit more information than just walking around and handing out blood hors d'oeuvres.
I have an idea. I go and see if I can find any mice or rats.
Okay, where do you want to go for that?
Kitcheny area.
Okay. So heading over to where the kitchen area would be, you do see that there are a handful of kindred still in this area. And you do see Dex sort of standing nearest to the one wall, near that sort of card key panel thing on his phone. And can clearly see into the kitchen with the doors that keep swinging in, open and closed. What looks like a group of servants that are making a meal. Obviously, it's probably not for the guests, but rather for the servants. But they don't stop you, but they do sort of like look to you as you approach the kitchen. Do you actually go in?
I just look over, and then I'm looking like, do you have a rodent issue? I heard that you did, and I need to feed.
Make a persuasion, and this would be manipulation. Roll, please.
SC critical.
Okay. So, any suggestions for how you would interpret this with a messy critical?
Just grab the person. I need to feed. Give me rat now.
So
I will rip your eyes out and wear them as testicles.
The guard does go, or the servant does go very, very pale and is clearly like terrified, but kind of just disengages and goes into shock. And another approaches. I am so sorry, my lord. Very gently tries to disengage this poor guard from your hands. We do have something of a rodent problem. We do have it mostly under control, but I can direct you to where they enter the building if that helps. We do also have a few animals in stock if you are something more of the farmer variety.
I prefer my own hunting. It adds character.
I understand. I do request though that you spare the dogs then on the grounds.
I would
Lady
never hurt a dog.
Rosalia is
Dog-
very fond of the dogs.
Yes, dogs are amazing. I love dogs, but not that way. I know there's rumors about Gangrel, but that's totally false.
If you'll come right this way. And she actually leads you into the kitchen, and you can see that there are a handful of people in here making what looks like, various different quick meals. And can actually see this door opens into the dining room. And you can see that all along this table, through the tablecloth are mounted big, heavy chains that at the moment lie empty. And they lead you through the kitchen and out towards near where the back door is into a pantry at the side. And she points to a spot in like the literal stone walls where you can see little tiny crack that is just the right size for a mouse. She says, we do have mice on the interior, and occasionally on the grounds, some of the guards do encounter the larger rats.
Thank you. Tabiel.
Very well, sir. And she sort of backs away. She does sort of keep an eye on you while she's working in the kitchen, but she doesn't interfere past that.
Alright, so I will, unless I see one come right out, I will use Animal Whispers, which requires a rouse check.
Okay.
Okay, I'm a little bit hungrier. Fucked. I just eat the guy later. So that allows me to summon a type of animal, rats.
Okay.
So they will, if there's any rats within the vicinity, they should approach me.
You wait a moment or two after extending your will, and then hear very quiet scuffling, and then louder as a little rat attempts to squeeze into this opening and then fails to because it's more mouse-sized, and then scuttles around to try to enter through the door.
It also allows me unlimited communication with them, so.
Oh, okay.
Hey, little buddy.
Yes.
All right. Are you familiar with the castle? The place you're living in. This thing. Man cave.
We live outside the man cave.
You live outside the man cave?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anyone who lives inside the man cave?
The dogs, but we don't like them.
So you don't live in
They
the man
kill
cave?
us. Not really, no. We enter occasionally if they leave the door open, but
Dang.
it's more often the cave where the horses stay. That's a good one.
Yeah, a lot of hay and feed there.
Mm-hmm. Perfect place to lay babies.
Yeah, I was hoping you were familiar with the castle so you could tell me what things were.
Maybe the
Boy.
little puny ones. The mice. They're pathetic, but small.
Do you got any
Fit in
friends
more
amongst them?
places. No, they're mice. They're disgusting and puny and weak.
True. Hey, can you do me a favor? Alright, so you can roll to afterwards to see if you accept the favor, but okay, so can you get your friends in the horse area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Need all of you en masse as one group, right? To win you don't have time concept. Okay, so I need all of you to wait. Okay, so count like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Do about 30 of those once you get back in with your group of friends into the barn area, right? And then chew through any electrical wires you find to start a fire.
You dick.
What is a Mississippi?
It's just a word. It's one that I heard from America. It's a weird thing. They have some weird ass states over there. They got one named Arkansas, but they pronounce it Arkansas.
So, chew through the wires in the barn.
Yes, to start a fire to distract people.
Okay. Roll your
Manipulation and animalism.
What are the chances this is going to fuck with the power on the door and cameras that I'm trying to get a view
It should be
on?
a separate building if it's a stable.
Yeah.
Much
A building
less-
this large, it's probably on a slightly different circuit.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. However, my other point, and I actually should have made mention of this one first, you're sending a rat to its death.
Yeah, that's why he's making a roll.
3 successes.
This also, however, depends on the rat being smart enough to realize that it will result in his death.
3 successes.
He says, okay. But what will we get from it?
If you succeed, I would give you massive bag of feed, corn.
Ooh, it's so
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a corpse, either or.
You'll be
one.
taken to a magical land.
As long as it's not the dead ones.
that's nothing but
We don't like
clouds
the
and
dead corpse. We
cheese.
don't like the dead humans.
And we'll take you to the magical land of Disney.
I was thinking heaven, but okay.
Same thing. Disney Plus for your entertainment needs. But yeah.
Sponsored by Disney.
We fucking wish. I'd shell out for Disney money. So,
I'm waiting for Jeanette to do
They're
the thing in the corner
expensive.
on my screen where she traces the Mickey Mouse symbol and says, this is Disney Channel.
So that's what I do.
he scampers off into the darkness. Meanwhile, Dex, what are you doing?
Well, other than hoping my partners aren't going to cause a commotion, I'm effectively trying to either pickpocket or find a key card so I can get into that blasted office.
Okay.
And I seriously doubt I'd just find one laying around unless this is a Hitman style game. In which case I need to find a change of clothes.
Wow, this one card seems to be brighter and more visible than all these other cards. I wonder if it's the item I need.
It's glowing yellow.
Why does that
So
chandelier have an exclamation point on it? Sorry.
I hover over this thing and the name appears above it. So looking around, you can see what looks like a handful of the guards. Actually, go ahead and make a. This would be
I don't know how to roll it.
wits and awareness, I would say, to try and
Oh,
spot
no.
which guards have this card.
Okay, I have that many dice I can roll. Hey, one success.
You do see it. It takes a few minutes of waiting, of like keeping an eye, but you do see what looks like a couple of them have one of those like retracting keychain sort of things attached to one pocket, where it looks like on the inside of the pocket is where that card would be. And you can easily enough follow one through the crowd, considering like everybody else is sort of wandering around. It's not super obvious that you're following them. If you would like to, you can attempt. It would be pickpocketing somebody. Would be dexterity and larceny.
Dexterity and larceny. Okay, so 3. Once again, I unfortunately have just enough. 2 of 3 successes.
Okay, you needed 2.
Jeez.
You easily enough sort of sidle up next to them just as the guy is like passing through a larger crowd of people, and frame it as if you were both trying to squeeze past the same group of people at the same time, and quickly enough snatch it out of his pocket and into yours, unnoticed.
So is this one like the one that I used to wear where it's on a retractable wire?
Yes.
Do I cut the wire before I put it into my pocket? Because this is going to get awkward otherwise.
You can, or you can, it's just a little clip holding it onto the side of the pocket. You can easily enough pull it off. It's just a matter of making sure that he's distracted enough to not notice the tension of pulling that clip off, which you do seem to have you managed. You have the card and the retractable thing.
Okay, I'll leave it at that because I used to wear something exactly like that for work for the express purpose of the fact that I would feel any type of tension or movement or
mine is less of that and more of it's just easy, and I'm lazy because I am a woman and therefore none of my work pants have fucking pockets.
That is valid. You could always do a fanny pack. Oh no, you could do a utilikilt. Looks just like a skirt, has the pockets of cargo pants. I've thought about this too much. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you have your card now.
Yay, time to deal with the bastard that's inside that office.
And I will say, while you're doing that, Cornelius, what are you up to?
So, I think that as my friend Farkas disappears off into the kitchen area, and I see when I look in that direction, Dex sort of leaning, watching. Okay, shrug. Kind of taking the room, looking about at various faces, just making sure to see if I, see anybody I'm familiar with, but also, kind of looking at the various servants and things like that. I'm looking for somebody who looks like they're slightly adorable, male, female, either one, to sort of go and chit chat with quickly.
Okay. One of the servants, you said?
Yeah, somebody who would know the upper floors of this establishment.
Okay. You can easily enough do that. You do find one servant who looks to be probably in like their early 20s or so. They're wandering around carrying a tray of what looks like a variety of different vials. Probably all from different donors because they look like they're slightly different shades, some of them. Sees you approach. Hello, sir?
Hello there. I'm curious. I like the view when we rode up in our carriage, but I don't think that you really can take in the view very well from the ground floor level. And I was wondering if someone like you looks like you are well versed in this wonderful building, this architecture, would know either yourself or someone who might be able to escort me, perhaps upstairs, maybe a floor or two above, to sort of take in the scenery before dinner this evening.
Well, I suppose I could pass off these duties to someone else. I am rather familiar with the area myself. I did grow up in the village, and
you do have that look like you know what you're doing.
I appreciate that. I've worked very hard to become a member of the household. I can show you to some of the rooms upstairs. Obviously, some are off limits as they belong to the lady, of course.
Of course.
But there are a number of fine sitting rooms that might suit your fancy.
That anything that you would care to show me would be fantastic this evening. I'm just very much this fine architecture always really just takes me in. I don't get to see enough of it, and I just like to, when I get the opportunity to really explore a bit.
Absolutely. He grabs one of the others that are sort of disappearing back towards the kitchen areas and passes off the tray to them, and leads you up the stairs. The marble stairs go up, and you can see that it splits basically into a hallway. Down one hallway is sort of blocked off by like a sort of velvet rope sort of thing. And it looks like a series of probably bedrooms and that sort of thing down there. And then he leads you to the other side. And you can see what opens into a couple of guest bedrooms. And he mentions it would obviously have to be discussed with the lady, but there has been talk of some guests actually staying a night or two after the ceremonies, just because travel back to one's home so quickly can be rather dangerous, and the airport isn't exactly exceptionally close, so some may need to rest a night or two here in the castle. But here is the sitting room, and he leads you into this room that he says sitting room, but it's kind of hard to really like compare it to that when you walk in and the walls are just completely covered in these beautiful paint, like obviously hand painted frescoes. There is a crystal chandelier hanging from the ceiling that is covered in electricity. A fireplace that's unlit off to the side, and a pair of beautiful glass doors that open onto a balcony.
And as we enter, I take note as the door to the room. Do they have to unlock it, or is it unlocked as we enter?
It was actually sitting open.
Oh, good. So I will admire the various frescoes and things, and stop and kind of do a little look at the chandelier and give a nod. Very nice, very nice. And then dramatically move to the doors for the balcony, and kind of whichever way they open, either out or in, sort of fling them.
They open outward.
All right, and I'm hoping like it dramatically billows any kind of curtains or anything.
Absolutely,
and then,
yeah.
Take a nice deep breath of the air, and I'm like, come over here, show me, point out the sights from here. Tell me about your home, as I know very little about it, and just kind of take in from this vantage point, whatever, courtyard and things below where the carriages and things lie, and really I'm looking for good strategic exit points and hiding places. But,
so you can see the courtyard from where you are. You can see a bit more of it. Further off, maybe a couple, like 100, 200 yards away or so from where that main entryway, where the path is another smaller, not paved, like dirt path that leads to what is fairly obviously a set of stables and a couple of smaller buildings, probably used for like storage or things like that, maybe a garage. There is what looks like a smallish topiary garden filled with various different hedges and shaped bushes and things like that. And you can see far in the distance the very faint outline of the village.
Gotcha.
And you do see, sort of wandering around casually through the grounds, are those groups of guards. You can see now that you have, you're sort of above them, you can clearly see what looks like it's 4 groups that you can see right now, of 2 guards each with a dog.
And do they seem like they have a kind of a set path that each group kind of is taking, like that's their sort of route?
Go ahead and roll a wits and awareness check.
Wits and awareness. All right, so that's gonna be 2 plus, so 3 dice. All right, here we go. Oh, come back here. All right, so on 3 dice, I get 2 successes.
Okay. It does seem like they have a bit of a path. They sort of rotate sort of clockwise through the most obvious areas where one might try to hide, checking like the barn and the garage area over by the garden. There's always one that's sort of near the perimeter of the wall, though it depends on which part of the wall where they are. The wall that like defends from the outside, like the fence wall, and then the actual castle wall as well.
And in watching them, is there any point I think that they have a blind spot in their patrol? Or do I think they're pretty well covered and it's going to take some...
It would probably require distraction. You could easily enough get it so that you can get one group alone where the others won't see. But you would have to time it really well, especially because if that flashlight vanishes or goes erratic or anything like that, it's a pretty clear warning sign to come check out what did that. But you think if you could get the drop on them and quiet them, or if there was a distraction, you could easily enough slip past them.
Okie dokie.
And I'll say, as you're noticing that, you see what looks like a light flick on in the stables and then get brighter. And then you hear the sound of panicked horses as small bits of flame start licking up the side of the barn.
I cock my head sideways and look at it. And
oh no,
yes, should that be doing that?
It should not. I will be right back. And he rushes back into the building and down the stairs to the guards.
Good luck.
Dex, you can very clearly hear the sound of someone in dress shoes tearing ass running down these marble stairs. And can just see the back of the head of one of these guards as he runs up to one of the guards that are actually standing guard at the door to where the ballroom is. They talk for a second, and both of them look, and the one takes off and sprints out into the lawn. It does seem like this is a bit of a distraction if you would like to try and use this opportunity to make your way into the control room. I don't know if you're back yet or not, Saege.
I'm sorry.
You're cool.
Yeah. What?
Basically, Kevin's rats that he made friends with have just set their fire. Cornelius had been upstairs on a balcony schmoozing a servant when the fire was spotted, and it seems like a lot of the guards and guests are a little distracted as this one servant comes tearing ass down the stairs as fast as he can, yelling about a fire in the stables. So if you would like, you have the opportunity now to maybe slip into that control room unseen.
That's exactly what I'd like to do.
Okay. You slip in, and opening the door, you can see that there is a singular individual sitting there in a suit that's kind of like wrinkled and rumpled, who immediately casually turns to see you. I'm sorry, sir, you are not allowed to be in here. What do you want to do?
Damn it, I collied myself. How effective is cloud memory?
So cloud memory. Let's find out. Which level is that? The first or the second level?
I only see of number 1.
Okay.
It's a dominate ability.
Dominate cloud memory.
Yeah, it's makes them forget the last few seconds, so it ends up being kind of like the Men in Black scene where they flashy thing the person, and then a few seconds later, hey, you're not supposed to be here, flashy thingy. Hey, you're not supposed to be here.
Am I the only one that remembers that it's called a neuralizer?
Yeah, flashy thingy is funnier.
That's what they called it in the movie, the flashy thingy too.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm not going to argue that point.
Yeah, it's a neuralizer and the flashy thing. That's what Jay calls it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
what
Did you ever flashy thing me, Jay?
Jay, I'm asking you a question. Do you ever flash anything?
by uttering the phrase "forget," you can make a creature forget the current moment as well as the last few minutes.
Okay. I secure the door, use cloud memory, and then I want to bite him.
Okay. So, so he is a resisting victim. He understands what kindred are, so he's going to try and resist. So I need you to roll a charisma plus dominate roll versus his wits and resolve.
Charisma and dominate.
And
4.
I have to pull up his stats really quick.
Alternatively, if it's like a smaller mortal or whatever, and you don't want like a big contest, you can just assign a base
Difficulty.
DC. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably
That's one of
easier.
the cool things about the V5 is they got a lot of alternative systems to speed things along if you need to.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and roll your dice then.
I got 2 10s, a 7, and a 6.
Oh shit. So fun thing in V5, a 10 is only a crit if you roll 2 of them. And when you roll 2 10s, instead of being treated as 2 successes, it's treated as 4 successes. So how many successes did you get?
That would be a total of 6 then.
Okay.
Did I just repaint the
Yes.
interior of this office?
Well, this is just to make him forget. So
okay.
the difficulty was 2. His eyes go completely blank for a second, and he just sort of spaces out. And I will say, in that moment, you can easily enough feed on him. If you so do you want to leave him alive or no? If you kill him, you can get down to hunger 0, but the only way you can get to hunger 0 is by killing him.
This is something I've always struggled with. If I don't drain them, if I don't kill them,
Mhm.
is he incapacitated for a while? Or is he just left foggy and
Depends on if you take what's called a non-harmful feed, which is like 3 hunger, and you kind of just leave them a little wacky and anemic and a little euphoric. You could basically feed down to what's called harmful, where you're giving them damage but not kill them, in which case they would. It's essentially like draining someone with a ton of blood, and they'd be on the ground and not in good shape and probably would need medical attention quickly.
Yeah, he won't be dead, but he certainly won't be able to get up for a while.
Yeah. Also, remember the feeding, unless you're certain clans, the Giovanni, it's very euphoric too. Just a remembrance. So when you drain someone, it feels really good for them.
I mean, I'm about to start messing with tech, which is basically my entire unlife. So yeah, that sounds like a good plan. If need be, I can also put him in a stranglehold.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Okay.
I'll do it that way.
So you can get down to hunger 1 if you were any higher than that. And with him out of the way, you can see that he had been sitting in front of a bank of kind of like relatively old school CRT monitors that show all over the place. There are cameras covering what looks like flicking through, covering every inch of the outer wall. As well as trained on all of the entrances and exits to the castle itself. There is one on the barn, and another on the garage, and another one inside the garage, but with a view of what looks like several very expensive vehicles. There's one that shows what looks like a library. One in like the main ballroom where several in the main ballroom where you can see all of the guests. And another one that catches your eye shows what looks like an office with like a desk and a couple of bookshelves, and it's not that interesting. And then you spot what looks like a very heavy vault door. And as soon as you notice that, you see a flash of color on one of the screens, which is a little surprising because it's pretty dark and foggy out. And you see what looks like flames licking up the side of the barn.
Well, there's our distraction. I'm going to stop recording on all of these devices.
Okay.
So leaving them on so that nobody thinks there's a problem, because I know a lot of those old cameras would have a red light on to let you know they're recording or that they were turned on and not just sitting there. Stop recording, leave them on, text the others the location of what I just found, and start heading that direction. But make sure that as I leave the office, I want to, how should I phrase this? Either a quick hack or just kind of elbow the keypad and fuck it up so it can't be used easily.
Okay. I will say, so you have 4 in technology, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I'll say that you can easily enough turn all those cameras to stop recording without really having to roll. To disable that that key panel, you want to try and make it so that no one can get in here
Effectively,
after you leave.
If I was a super hacker, and I know I use that term inappropriately, I would say just change the effective code of what would register as a good card. Like just change literally just one number in the sequence, and nobody else that's on the floor is going to have a good card for it. Or if need be, if that fails, then just punch it or something.
Yeah, like it's complicated. It's funny because like as a GM, I want to say you should maybe have to roll for that, but as somebody that actually has control over like who can access those cards in my office, it takes 2 seconds. You're fine.
Oh yeah.
It's incredibly easy. If you can actually get access to that program, you control it.
Yeah. So, long story short, guess what I learned when they swapped out our security cards at work one day. But yeah, that's basically what I want to do.
So, that's what you do. Farkas, you can see in the distance the mayhem that your friends have just caused. What do you want to do?
Pull one out. Okay. Just start walking, looking at my phone, like.
Where are you walking? Out into the grounds, back to the party, or?
Basically where everyone's mingling around, just like so people see me, so they don't think I'm doing anything. How much? Like,
okay. I'll say.
Salute.
Okay. Yeah.
Salute.
You do see what looks like a lot of the guards and servants are sort of talking amongst each other and moving more quickly now. Cornelius up on the balcony, you can see now that there are several guards sprinting out onto the lawn, open up the doors to release the horses, which of course take off like a bat out of hell. A handful try and chase them down, running a lot quicker than is normal for a mortal. But managed to quell most of them. And a couple of brave individuals with fire extinguishers make their way out to try and put out the blaze. Anything you want to do, or just watch this chaos unfold?
I'm watching for a minute. As a couple of people go by with fire extinguishers, I'm like, well, remember when you use those, point it at the base, not at the top, or it's not going to do you any good. All right then. I figure whenever my phone buzzes, I'll check and see where Dex has let me know to meet them. And, kind of pull the doors to the balcony almost shut, but not completely, so like they could easily just be brushed open. Cross back over to the doorway, leave it open as it was when I came in with the servant, and kind of give a once up and down the hall, just take in any other movement on the floor before I casually turn and head back down the stairs to the floor below, looking for Dex at this point.
So where did Dex tell them to meet him?
I would have texted him. Dex texted the location of the vault that I saw inside that office, and would be heading that direction from the security.
I head there too once I get the text.
All right. So you actually know that it is probably on. Actually, the camera probably could have clearly told you. It's on the second floor. It is beyond, as you're, I'll say based on what you guys know of what you've seen in the building, you can tell that it's going to be past that velvet rope. Sort of looking down there, you don't see any people or guards or anything really.
I once I get to the velvet rope, I take a few moments to get my blood flowing a little, and we activate my weight of the feather and start walking down. That way I don't set off any sensors or pressure plates or anything, because I weigh nothing for the most part.
Nice. Okay.
And I don't need a roll if I take a few moments to concentrate to do it.
So you guys see Farkas going down the hallway. It's actually a little unsettling. He took a moment to breathe, and his footsteps stopped making noise completely.
That's a new one.
Pulling out Emperor's New Groove.
Yes, but the theme song gives you away.
And make your way to the door, which is very clearly locked. You can see that it does have a keyhole. Sort of like peeking through it. It's kind of an old-fashioned keyhole. Peeking through, you can see, the only thing you can really see is the bookshelf and the small corner of a metal door, which is probably the vault.
Can we see the latch portion of the lock mechanism between the gap in the door and the frame? That ever so slight gap?
The thing that's broken on our one door.
Oh, yeah, I'll say you can.
Then I would like to use a credit card or something of equal slimness but firmness to jimmy the lock and try and get us in.
Okay. Dexterity and larceny, please.
Dexterius and larceny.
I'll be keeping an eye out in case anybody comes up the stairs.
If anybody's got a better score in this than me, I've got to roll 3 dice.
No,
got
we have 3 as
3.
well.
Yeah.
Well, okay then.
Yeah, our
so-
largest person is one of the ones who did not show up, apparently.
Yeah.
They're too busy having fun at the party.
Yeah.
So there is a thing that you can do. Something that you guys can do to enhance your dice pools is called to initiate a blood surge. It requires a rouse check, so you may get hungrier. But for the next roll that you make, you get to add 2 dice to your total.
Well,
So you can decide to do that if you'd like.
I got a 10, a 3, and a 4, so 2 successes.
All right, yeah, you managed to open the door.
Holy shit. The vault won't be this easy, but holy shit.
Yeah. Open the door and peer inside. You can see that there are a couple of cameras in here.
Shut
And
off.
a desk that's like very neatly kept. A couple of drawers on there that also look like they have little keyholes. And the vault door is absolutely massive and is probably going to require either a combination or some very lucky safe cracking or significant brute strength.
Is it an old school like turnstile combination lock, or is this electronic?
It is old school combination.
Piss.
I will, just because why not, I will attempt a blood surge and just for shits and giggles see if I can just kind of rip.
Wait.
Hmm?
There, on this kind of a vault, there are visible hinges on the outside for the door to swing open, correct?
Yes.
I want to use some corrosive vitae on those hinges and try and make his job a little bit easier.
All right. So I'll say
Rouse check and I have to do a rouse check too.
Yeah, I'll say a rouse check would get both hinges. So both of you roll a d10. If you get a success, then you are fine. If you get lower than a 6, then you gain 1 hunger.
I'll use my ability to heighten my senses while I'm keeping a lookout, just so I'm much more aware of
Okay.
anything approaching while they do this.
The larceny that we are currently causing. 7.
Okay. So you are not hungrier. And your blood starts to very slowly seep through this metal and melt it. It's slow going and it doesn't smell great, but it does go. Kevin, what was your are you hungrier?
No, as I blood searched, thankfully. I did have to spend a willpower point though because I rolled pretty bad earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So down one of those, just yeah. But thankfully because of that, I ended up with a crit.
Oh,
So
so how many
that's-
successes?
6.
Nice. So,
Please tell me if I need to dodge out of the way of a flying vault door.
because your vitae takes a while to sort of chew through this, you were well enough out of the way. Farkas, after a bit of pulling, and welling the strength into yourself, you do manage to, with a very strong pull, pull the door away, and you hear that sort of intake of a vacuum sealed room being opened. And then a fairly loud thud as the corner of the door drops into the hardwood floor, considering it doesn't have hinges to hold it. You are able to like prop the rest of it up so that it doesn't make any more noise, but that definitely was very audible to Cornelius. Unclear if to anyone else, considering there is a fire downstairs, so there's that. But it may garner some attention. I will say. So looking in, you can see that it's lined with several small drawers. Some of which are just open, and some of which require what look like little keys, almost like lockbox keys. Of all different sizes. Sort of peering into some of these open drawers, you find piles of just cash, jewels, one drawer of entirely just gold coins that look like they're absolutely ancient. Another of like a pile of what look like family photographs of individuals you don't recognize. But there are a handful of things. The further in you go, the larger these boxes get. And I'll say that Dex, just because you've got that in mind for security, you can see that there are a couple of what almost look like cameras, but clearly aren't because there were no cameras in here, that are pointed into the room in sort of crisscrossing directions.
Lasers. Well, gotta find a way to turn those off. Does anybody have any pocket mirrors?
Oh yeah. Using one of my areas of prepares, like
Yeah.
I honestly wasn't expecting that. I don't know what else to do.
Every Thursday I like to groom.
I did not need that information. I will attempt to fry the circuitry by bouncing the lasers back where they came from.
Go ahead and make a
Please say technology.
yeah, technology and dexterity test for me.
Holy shit. Okay, that'll work. 2, 4, 5, 6.
Also, I rolled less dice than I was supposed to for that strength check. If I rolled 2 more, it would have been up to 8.
Jesus.
Which, with my strength, would have meant I lifted up 2 metric tons.
Yeah, you would have thrown the vault door out through the window.
Yeah.
4 out of 6 successes, no crits.
So you do manage to, sort of judging the trajectory of where they are, bounce this almost impossible to see line of light back, and sort of trip out a couple of these. And as you're starting to do that and going through and carefully disabling each one of these little lasers, Cornelius, you hear sounds coming up that marble balcony very clearly, what sounds like several people running.
So I hear it from the stairs or from the outside on the balcony?
So you're like in that, I imagine you're sort of like at the doorway into that office.
I figured I'd kind of was like halfway up so I could easily move back and forth.
Okay. You can hear that they're probably coming up that marble staircase.
Son of a bitch. We've got company coming, my friends. Which... I'm going to... I guess I move back up the hallway and to the other side of the velvet rope, kind of positioning myself as if I'm coming out of the door of the room that I was taken to by the servant.
Okay.
And kind of wait to see who ascends to the top of the staircase.
All right.
I have a slightly different idea.
You will do you, and I appreciate it.
So,
but yeah, I stand there looking a little surprised, like I'm kind of like looking around, like, what is going on?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll wait for my turn.
No, you can go ahead now.
Assuming, well, this is assuming, so I'll just ask outright. Do I find those items from the auction list in this vault?
You have, you're, at the moment, you are still currently disabling the, lasers. You haven't gotten into the boxes yet. But you have identified what looks like would be the right size ones for them. So basically imagine like this room is kind of like the interior of a bank vault with all the little silver drawers. There are some that obviously would not be able to hold the jar that you're looking for. They're just too small. So I'll say you have it narrowed down to about like 4 of these boxes that it probably is in one of these. When you start to hear those sounds of movement and Cornelius yells that you may have company coming.
Okay. That doesn't answer 2 parts of this question.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I have to be a little bit more specific because I realized how generic that question was. Do I see the sword, the soul razor, in this vault?
I'll say you have, so all of these are locked. You can, I'll say, given them a few moments, you can easily start to get to them. But as she says, or as Cornelius says that we have company, you've just managed to disable the last laser. So you have time to perhaps break into one of these boxes and retrieve whatever is in there. You can identify easily enough which ones might be the right size for it.
Okay. Then in order, I want to try and find the sword, preferably first.
Okay.
The black velvet gloves second.
Okay.
And lastly, the vial that we're looking to steal originally.
Okay.
And if I get either A or B before I get C, I'll immediately go to C.
Okay.
Well, when Cornelius says we have issue, I will, which is free for me, Pharaoh whispers to summon my wolf to come towards us.
Okay.
And activate my feral claws just in case.
All right. So, this, as they come running up the stairs, Cornelius, you see what looks like 3 of those servants in the suits that are very clearly packing. 2 of them have their weapon drawn, the other one's still sort of holding it there, and then lumbering behind them is a much larger individual in a suit that doesn't fit quite right. And you kind of have to do a double take because he's carrying what looks like a big ass like hammer with a sharp pick on the end, but then you realize that it is extending from underneath his sleeve. And then the other arm, you see what looks like a long spike of metal.
You got that one?
Oh, do I see whatchamacallit, Farkas in the hallway to the right of me? I assume I'm in a doorway where the velvet rope and the office are to my right and the staircase is to my left. Is Farkas in the hallway at this point?
Would he be?
Farkas is basically ready, just like.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting for you to like shoot a weapon so I can run in front of you like Farkas from Skyrim.
Well, currently Cornelius appears to be unarmed. As I see these fellows come up the stairs, and I look left and right, and I say, "Jesus Christ, what's going on?"
They say, fire on the grounds. We believe there are intruders. Please rejoin the guests downstairs, and just bolt past you. And into the room where Farkas is. And I will say that this sounds like a good time to do initiative real quick.
There's no initiative.
I was about to say, if you end us here.
This is where things end. Have a nice week.
Pull a fucking Scotty on us.
Yeah.
There is not. There is like the concept of just, I think it's like a flat score, I think it was.
No, it's you declare actions and range typically goes before people in melee. Then melee people who are already engaged in combat go, and those who are entering combat normally go. And then everything's simultaneous. That's the easy version of the system, or
fair.
Quicker version, I should say. And then all the actions are simultaneous, kind of thing.
And then what if you are not doing a melee thing?
Not doing a melee thing, then since melee is a lot faster for a lot of things, I would just let them go after everyone else, as long as they're not engaged in physical combat of some sort. Now, if someone engages them in some kind of combat, then they can just dodge.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think there is a more traditional system in the later in the book for optional rules if you want, like
that might have been the one I was thinking
turns and all that stuff. If you want to do that, but it's optional thing in the book.
Okay, so first off, they run past Cornelius and into the room where they see the vault door open and Farkas.
Farkas runs after the biggest motherfucker and going take him out.
Okay, so you watch the initial 3 run in and wait for the big guy to come in?
Yeah, biggest motherfucker.
Okay. All right. What do you want to do?
Kill him.
Okay.
I'm rageaholic, and I know I cannot make an excuse why we broke into a vault. I can't really be like, this isn't where we parked our horse.
Strength and brawl, please. No, you did not make it to dinner.
Woohoo! 3 successes, and he has to roll his defense.
Okay, and
his offense. We both roll simultaneously.
Yes.
So either it's defending or trying to hit me.
Okay, I am going to use a dice roller because I am lazy and have a lot of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, he got 4 successes.
Damn.
As he rolls up and attempts to slam down this gigantic hammer on you. And you realize that he is not holding it. As the sleeve sort of falls down, you see that it is sort of embedded into his wrist. As he tries to smash the shit out of you with a big-ass hammer. What were your successes?
He got higher, so by 1.
Okay, so he deals whatever is damage plus 1, correct?
Correct.
So... So that would be 4. Not the aggravated one, the other one.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. It's like, ooh, damn.
So, next up, Cornelius, you saw these guys run past you. Is there anything you're doing?
Well, I let them run by.
Mhm.
And I had my heightened senses, so if I don't think anyone else is coming up the stairs directly behind them, I'm going
Doesn't
to
seem to be.
I'm going to follow them down the hallway. Also, how many points of my preparedness would I have to spend to have an ankle holster with my gun?
If it's just like a pistol, then just 1.
Okay, so I will spend 1. And I don't draw the gun yet, but I sort of, double check it's there as I make my way kind of halfway down the hall and sort of eyes in to see what's going on in the room.
All right. And I'm going to... Okay, there we go. Yeah, so looking down the hall, you can see these individuals now attempting to engage in a combat with Farkas. This larger individual is trying to just beat the shit out of him with his not quite bare hands, bare weapons. As the others are going to turn and shoot. Inside the vault, Dex, you wanted to go after the sword first, correct?
That was the first plan. Yes, I wanted to go for some type of weapon, knowing we've got company coming.
Okay.
Before I step out.
I will say that if you spend a I feel like 1 point of 1
Scheme.
blood check is the word that I'm farting on.
Rouse check.
There we go. That would be you would be able to spray enough blood onto all of these doors to melt the locks enough to start to get into them.
Ooh. Okay.
So go ahead and roll your rouse check.
I shall do that. That sounds like a great idea. I wish I had it. Just barely with a 6.
Okay. And then go ahead and just roll me a d10 and tell me what you get.
Copy that. A different d10. 3.
The first door that you open up contains a small sword about yay long or so, made of brass with a handle that looks like it was probably once wrapped in like leather or cloth or something and is sort of rotted away. You believe this is Soul Razor.
Nice.
It kicks brass.
And now the 3 ghouls that have just entered the room realize that there are intruders and are going to start shooting. Yeah, I'll say that 2 of them are going to shoot into the vault where you are, Dex, but you do have some cover. And 1 is going to shoot at Farkas. So they roll their attack, and then you guys would roll athletics plus strength. Is it, Kevin?
For dodging,
Yes,
athletics plus dexterity.
that's right.
Mhm.
I'm done.
Shit. Go ahead and spend a point of willpower.
That other thing that Kevin is doing, he is spending willpower. Whenever you roll and you really think that it's shit, you can spend 1 point of willpower to re-roll up to 3 dice, none of which can be hunger dice. So if you are rolling so few that you are rolling just hunger, You can.
2 successes for me.
That is a thing that I feel like I might have forgotten to specify. When you're rolling, you should try and roll 2 different color dice. Because getting 10s or 1s on the blood dice matters a bit.
And it's just the one blood dice, right?
Yeah, because you're using a dice roller, unless yours specifically does that, Saege, I'll say just treat whatever the first numbers that you get would be. Is your dice roller random, or does it sort them by smallest to lowest?
It's random, and that's only if I don't have enough dice to cover.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So if you have to use the dice roller, just treat whatever the first 1 or 2 or 3, however many hunger you have, as what you rolled in your blood dice.
Okay.
So, and they have to roll as well. So what did Farkas get?
2.
Okay, they got 1 over you.
Shit.
So that is 3 more superficial damage.
Thankfully, we're having most superficial.
Mm-hmm. And Dex, what did you get?
Okay, I'll be honest. I thought you were talking just to Farkas, and I completely missed what I'm supposed to be rolling
You're
for.
cool. Dexterity and athletics.
2. Yeah, I have enough for those. That's a 10. Holy shit, 2 10s and an 8.
Yeah, so they shoot in and immediately regret it a bit, considering that room is completely metal and the contents are supposed to be bulletproof. So those shelves rocket around the room and then back out, also getting closer than they would like to them, but somehow you make it out of there unscathed. Leading somewhat into the little bit of speed from celerity that you've picked up, and just pure luck. Or maybe it's that thing about the blessing that's on that soul razor sword. Who knows? Cornelius, you very clearly hear the sounds of gunfire from inside the room, and Farkas, and heavy thumps of combat.
Oh, shit. Well, hopefully he gets his hands on what we're looking for. Can I draw my gun and poke my head around the doorframe?
Absolutely, yeah. Looking in, you can see that there are 2 that were just shooting into the vault. One that is shooting at Farkas, and then that much taller individual that you probably now realize is a Schlasta, with the weapons for arms.
I don't want to take away Farkas's fun, so I'm going to shoot at one of the 2 individuals firing into the vault.
Okay, go for it.
All right, so firearms and...
Firearms is firearms and composure.
Composure. All right, so I'm going to get 5 dice here. Here we go. So yeah, I just point my gun around the frame enough to get a line of sight, and I fire, and I get 1, 2, 3, 4. I get 5 successes.
Holy shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you sort of peer around, and as they have their back to you, you put 2 well-placed bullets into this guy's, one in the back and then one at the base of the spine, and he drops like a bag of rocks. He got 0 successes and had a minus because he had no cover.
Sucks to be him.
The other one is immediately going to wheel around and shoot at you.
Did you see him trying to break into the vault?
So I'm going to. There's 2 left. One's shooting at. One's still taking on Farkas because. No, okay. So one of them is going to shoot at Cornelius, and the other one is going to enter the vault and attempt melee because he doesn't know any better yet. So I am me. For mortals, rolling a 1 doesn't mean shit, right? Because they don't have blood dice.
Correct. It does. It's just a failure.
Oh, and it doesn't matter unless they rolled total failure anyway.
Mm.
So Cornelius, I need you to roll another
Athletics and dexterity.
Yep.
Correct.
And because you have cover, I will say you get to add a +1 dice.
I will do that. All right, here we go. Rolling dice. Oh, I got 2 successes, one of which is a 10.
You have to get 2 10s for it too.
What if you
That's fair.
tie
Uh,
on damage?
tying is the situation doesn't change, which typically means
Okay, so neither of you take damage.
yeah,
So
no
that bullet-
damage.
Bursts on the door frame by my head or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, it's like a very close call, and you're just kind of like,
My head, I move my head and kind of like, scrunch my eyes from the splinters. I'm like, was he not breaking into the vault? Did I fire at the wrong person? My sincerest apologies.
And the other guy is actually going to head into the vault, and pulls out a long, sort of wicked-looking knife, and is going to take a swing at Dex.
Jeanette, real quick, Discord.
So is it the same thing to defend? Oh no, in melee it's just your melee versus their melee.
it depends on how if they're attacking Dex. It's essentially they're attacking, but if Dex wants to swing the sword and attack at the same time, then it's Dex and melee versus Dex and melee. If he wants to dodge, then it's dodge. So the choice is up to the player as they do. But the more actions you start doing, the more you divide, which is why typically at the beginning of the round, everyone declares their actions. So you know how to divide the pools.
So, how would Dex like to defend against this guy coming at him with a machete?
Well, I've got a nice little knife.
Okay. You can go ahead and roll Dex and melee. And because it is Soul Razor, you get to add +2 dice.
Great, because my dex is 2 and my melee is shit. So 4 dice. Two successes, 2 failures.
Okay. So you, this guy swings down at you just as you sort of pull the blade out, and without even really like intending to, you hadn't heard him enter the vault. You pulled it out and turned to like react to the rest of the room, and instinctively pull the blade up, just as he comes down on you, and deflect it out of the way as he tries to stab you in the face, basically.
Has my wolf arrived yet?
And I will say at that point, it would be melee for those in combat. So Farkas, you and a sword hand guy can face off, and then I'll say your wolf arrives right after your actions.
All right, so my actions this round is essentially try to annihilate this dude.
Okay, that's fair.
Thought he said try not to hate this dude.
All right, I'm going to do this. Let's drop that. I also did a mending, so I healed 1.
Okay.
You can mend while also doing other things. It's 6 successes.
Okay, you beat him by 3.
All right, so my damage is thinking. So 3. I'm just going to double read this because it's normally brawling, and brawling is so I think it's 5 aggravated damage.
Ouch. Okay. So what are you aiming for on this guy? Are you trying to take his jugular out, or?
Yeah, I'm aiming for well, how tall is this guy? Because my character's like Wolverine height, like 5'4".
He's probably a good two heads taller than you. He's pretty tall, much taller than everyone else in the room, basically.
All right. So I'm aiming low and attacking his knees and tendons and junk section to try and take him down.
Yeah, he's trying to get at you, but you can very clearly see that his dexterity is not quite as high as his brute strength. He's having a hard time catching you. And as you go for cut at his knees and his one leg starts to buckle, your wolf arrives. So you can roll for the wolf.
Okay.
We've got oh, nope, this one we know.
So, for all of those in our wonderful audience in the future, or if this is ever even listed, I must ask, what's the wolf's name?
Charlie.
Yeah, no, I shouldn't have asked.
Tracks.
I love it.
That is 3 successes from Charlie.
Oh, and now the Schlachta didn't declare he was going to defend against the wolf because he didn't know. Is there like a penalty to defending, or does he just not get to defend? How does that work?
He gets the full defense this time. He gets 1 less on his defense for rolling, but
Okay.
because he already tried to do something against me, if I'm mistaken. If I'm mistaken.
Okay. And Charlie got 3 successes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he also got 3. He basically, as the wolf comes in, reels back, and the wolf just catches like the metal part of that hammer that he's trying to beat the shit out of you with, and doesn't really catch hold of any flesh, unfortunately. Back to the top. Gonna try and actually do the rules properly this time. If you're doing something other than just attacking, you have to split your dice pools. So say you want to shoot at them, but then also attempt to hide. You would split your dice pools in half, and you roll half for both of those. Every time you are attacked by a second person, you take another attack. You roll 1 less dice to defend against it than you normally would. So after 3 or 4 times, you're basically down to 0 dice and can't defend.
Yeah, honestly, the simplified combat works best one-on-one combats. When you start adding people, I think that's why they have the advanced combat. We should look into for next time we play the game.
Top of the round, ranged people. He's gonna attempt to continue shooting at Cornelius because you're a problem. He is actually going to try and move closer to you though, so that he can try and get around that cover that you have. Because
Well, shit.
annoying.
Cornelius should be shooting identical if Cornelius is still shooting. So they're both shooting at each other.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm firing too?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So basically, yeah.
Yep. It's basically
I
how it
think I
works.
might have been doing it wrong.
Yeah, you are giving us actual turns when it's
Yeah.
simultaneous stuff. So how it's supposed to work is like Cornelius and the other guy are both firing. Whoever gets higher is assumed to get the shot off first, hits the other one, which prevents their shot from inflicting damage. It's like the old Star Wars D6 system, if the first edition, if you've ever played that one. Onslaught for first. Yeah.
So he got 1 success.
Good on him. I got none.
Okay. So that is a total of 4 damage to Cornelius.
Am I rolling athletics dexterity on that, or do I not get to because I shot 2?
Yeah.
As you simultaneously. But
Fair enough.
But because we're vampires, we have that damage unless it's aggravated. So you're only actually taking 2.
So Kevin, how would you record that on a character sheet best, do you think?
I just put a little tally marker into my health chart kind of thing, just to know how much I've actually taken.
Yeah, it might be best to use like a post-it note or a notes program next to it or something.
Okay, so I'm just so my health is 5 little boxes. So I'm assuming if I take 5 boxes of damage, then oops.
Yeah, it starts becoming more severe after that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
But we
there's
can
basically there's superficial and aggravated damage. Once you get up to 5 superficial damage, you take 1 aggravated. And when you start taking aggravated damage, it's much worse and very hard to heal.
Gotcha. All right, so I'm taking 2 currently.
And then is it at the end of your turn that you can do a mend check, or is it just
It's whenever
after?
you find. Yeah, it's whenever for the most part, as long as it's kind of your turn.
Yeah. So basically, as soon as you take that, you can choose to. Is it roll a rouse check and then do the
Yes.
mend? You can heal one of those by doing a rouse check, and regardless of what you get on the rouse check, you still heal 1.
Okay,
It just
so
depends on if you're hungrier.
does my blush of life count for rolling this rouse check? Just checking.
Not for this one, no.
Okay, so I'm rolling a d10 and I'm hoping to get above a 6.
Correct.
All right, I got a 2.
Okay, so you gain 1 hunger
I'm getting
and
hungry.
reduce your damage by 1.
Okie dokie. You fucked up my suit, you bastard!
And then melee versus those already in combat. Farkas, what do you want to do?
I transform into my monstrous bat form once per story and bite the shit out of the guy.
Oh, do you want to describe what your monstrous bat form looks like?
It's like a large man-sized bat-human hybrid. So probably a lot like Underworld kind of thing.
So Man-Bat instead of Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also was picturing Man-Bat, and then he mentioned that one. I'm like, oh, that's way cooler than what I was picturing.
But they all work.
Yeah.
So
Didn't know he could do that. That's amazing.
it's a special thing from my bloodline.
Can do what? I can't say anything.
It's fantastic. You'll have to take a look. Bring your friend with you.
Kind of bit. We'll be right there.
The Schlosser is actually going to split his pool as he's going to attack you and the wolf.
So, ooh, messy crit.
Ooh.
Put another image in Discord just for the lulz.
So I got a total of 6.
Okay.
Messy crit in combat, basically, it's just probably frenzying on his ass almost.
Yeah, possibly. So his attack versus you.
So you're eating his ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
How
like a
many
honey
s-
badger, ass first.
How many successes was it?
6.
He got 4. Okay. So you do 2 extra damage, and because of your critical, what hunger are you at currently?
I am at hunger 2.
Okay. Go ahead and I want you to roll a frenzy check. This would be.
Oh, hold on, let me try calculating my damage.
Oh yeah, that would help.
So it's a bite. Bite normally do what on the chart? Do you see it?
I don't see it, so I'll just say it does 1.
Okay, so 2 of those. 4 pure aggravated damage.
All right. And then as he takes a swing at your wolf, go ahead and roll a frenzy check. So whatever your willpower is, and roll willpower, and your difficulty is 2, because at the moment your wolf has not actually been severely hurt yet. Okay, you do not frenzy. And he is going to use the rest of his dice pool to take a swing at Wolfie.
And Wolfie is attacking him. So
2 1s and a 2. Basically, as he goes to swing down towards the wolf just grabs at his knee and shakes like a motherfucker, and the guy goes down like a bag of rocks. Go ahead and roll Wolfie's attack.
4.
Actually, yeah, he rolled no successes. How would Wolfie like to finish this thing?
He basically just grabs the jugular and rips it out, as me and the wolf are just like, because I that messy critical.
Yeah.
So, assuming I'm
Meanwhile, inside the vault, Dex and this other individual with a knife, swinging at each other still, or do you want to try and open another drawer in here?
No, the first thing I want to do is effectively try to dodge his attack,
Mhm.
and then with my own attack, push him out. Hopefully with the stab. Like effectively like trying to tackle him while dodging his whatever he's trying to attack with and stab him with the knife.
I'll say that doing that would be slightly more difficult, but you would still just be rolling whatever you would roll to attack with the sword. So Dex plus your melee plus 2 for the sword.
So 4 again. Okay.
He got 3 successes.
Oh no. I got 4.
4 successes?
4 successes.
Okay. So that's what you needed. You do manage to stab him and push him back a little bit. So you beat him by
1.
just the main, and is a
Is it
Okay.
sad that 3 of them were 6s? Or is that a good thing?
I mean, it's a success. Success is success, man. Okay. So he is severely bleeding, but he is still up. But he has now been pushed out of the vault and into the main room, turns and sees the carnage that is the wolf and man bat thing feeding on on the big guy.
So, from what you were saying earlier, wasn't
Uh-huh.
there supposed to be a side effect with the Soul Razor? Or is that only on corpses?
The main power of Soul Razor is that whoever has it usually can get through any fight. The main issue with it is that anybody who wields it is going to have people after them because it is a very powerful weapon.
fucking Elder Wand.
Effectively. It said that this is the sword that was wielded by men who won wars. And heavily implied in the legends that this is why they won.
Mm.
And looking at it, like, it is much sharper than a brass sword has any right to be. It's sort of almost discolored with age, but still very clearly a powerful weapon. So you pushed him out of there and did some damage already. And I will say at that point, Cornelius, you hear footsteps coming down that hall. Calmly, however, very weirdly relaxed.
Shit, someone else is coming.
And descending down this hallway towards you guys is a woman in a very old-fashioned ball gown, thick curly hair tied back into an elegant updo, walking down the hall with a smear of blood on the side of her face.
Not good.
So I take it you are intruders then. Is that it?
I think I shot one of the intruders there. I was taking a nice view from the balcony over there in that room down the hallway, and a kerfuffle broke out.
Roll a manipulation and subterfuge check.
All right, let's see. 2. Ooh, I get 6 dice for this.
Oh.
There we go. 1, 2, 3. I got 3 successes.
It would help if I rolled the correct amount of dice.
I'm scared to know how many you get to roll.
Okay. She also got 3 and just sort of looks to you.
Give her a winning smile.
Very well. Sit down and do not move. And I want you to make a...
Oh no.
So what do you roll for the compel?
Uh,
Do you have that one? I feel like you might. I'm not sure now.
yeah. So let's see.
Oh, this is... we'll just say it's the same as mesmerize. So intelligence plus resolve.
Intelligence plus resolve.
Mm-hmm.
2. So I get to roll 4 dice for this. Um, 2 successes.
So she got 5 successes.
Shit.
So you immediately get that that immediate urge to just flee, and before you can move, your blood locks up and you feel yourself immediately drop down to the ground to sit on the floor.
Yep. Comfy down here.
And you guys see this individual stride into the room. A woman in that elegant dress of blood on the side of her face. And let's see. No one else is in range, really. Farkas and Dex, what do? You see a woman walk into the room. Dex, you are a little bit engaged at the moment, and Farkas, you are possibly distracted gorging on a corpse, but you do see another person enter the room.
Jump in attack.
Okay, go for it.
That's what Farkas is here for. To fight
is.
and kill so that everyone else can live.
Pour one out for you later.
4 successes.
Okay. So she Sorry, my dice roller just crashed on me.
See, it scares me when you say you need a dice roller because I think I have a general idea of how many dice you actually have.
It's just easier to do it, but also it's not an insignificant amount.
Mhm.
So you said you got 4 successes?
Yes.
She got 5. As you leap towards her, she swings up, and at the side of her arm, these sort of bone protrusions extend out into sharp blade-like things and deflect you off the side, sort of cutting open your jaw a little bit. And that would be 2 superficial damage that you cannot have.
Oh, she has what I have.
Mm-hmm.
But then she's got. Sorry.
So that's what you did. And then the guy that is currently trying to carve Dex up is going to proceed to still try that. Actually, no, he's realizing that this is not working very well. He is going to backpedal and then attempt to shoot at you. So I'll say that you can you can still do a melee at him as he's backing up.
I want to back up into the vault and try and get my hands on the vial that we're here for.
Oh, okay. All right. So I will say you can either attempt to swing at him and then backpedal, or you can just go back in.
If oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
If I just backpedal,
Mhm.
sorry, I thought I heard something. If I just backpedal and if I use my rapid reflexes,
Mhm.
would I get any sort of, I hate to use 5e lingo, but any type of advantage on not being shot, basically?
Oh, okay. So I will say that using rapid reflexes, it does say you can do a minor action worth of the 2 dice. So I will say that you could still swing. If you use rapid reflexes, you could take a swing at him and then backpedal into the room and grab something out of one of the doors.
Oh, wonderful. In that case, that's exactly what I'll do.
Okay. So he got 2 successes on his swing against you.
Okay, so I still need my dex, melee, and sword, right?
Correct.
So it's another 4. Roll. Okay, so I got a 10,
Nice.
but I also got a 1.
Okay. Are either of them on your blood dice?
Hunger dice.
Well, yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, because it's not on this.
So those really only matter the 10s only matter if you get 2 10s, and it only matters whether it's on your blood dice if you get 2 10s and one of them is on your hunger dice, or you get a 1 and no successes and a 10 or a 1 on your hunger, or a 1 on your hunger dice.
Okay, so I got the 10, the 1, a 6, and a 3. So 2 successes, or
So 2. That's right. And he got 2. So both of you are tied. You basically take a swing at him and he deflects and you backpedal into the room. And going for the vessel, go ahead and just roll a flat d10 for me.
flat d10. Well, they're not flat, but
Well, you know what I mean.
yeah. 8.
You blindly reach in for one of them and put your hand on what feels like a ceramic jar. And come out and you're holding an earthenware jar with wax around it. Looks pretty close to what the picture showed.
Nice. I will football that thing as best I can.
Cornelius, at this point, it seems like the compulsion from who is undoubtedly Lady Rosalia has seemingly worn off some. What do you want to do?
Is my friend that I was shooting at still alive?
Seems to be, yeah.
Well, shit.
He is currently trying to shoot into the vault towards Dex.
I'm gonna poke my head around the corner and aim my gun and say, "He's still trying to get into the vault! Look at him!" and fire at him.
Go for it.
Alright, so that's gonna be...
Oh, fuck.
Firearms plus that's 5 dice, okay. Oh, 1 dice rolled away, so I'll re-roll another dice. Okay. So, 5 successes.
Literally also 5 successes. He rolled 3 dice and got all 10s. I feel like I should take a picture of this because I'm never going to roll this well again. And it's also hilarious that Saege isn't here when I rolled this well.
Now, he got a bunch of 10s. Does that mean he did better than me?
So each pair of 10s counts as 2 successes. Actually, you're right, it does, because he got a pair of 10 is 4 successes, right, Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah,
shit.
so he got... No, he got 5 successes.
Okay.
4 successes plus 1. Yeah. So you are still tied, shockingly. Literally as good as he possibly could roll, and it's still tied. You do manage to, basically, as he's shooting, get pretty close to him to the point where he does duck behind the desk for cover. That's...
I attacked the big lady.
There you go.
So is my wolf. You forgot, my wolf didn't attack yet.
Oh yeah. She's not really
7.
concerned about the wolf. She's just gonna go after you.
7 successes from me.
Okay. Four successes from her. So 3 plus, we think we said bite was 1 damage? Or is it more in this form?
My form and my one ability. So 4, 7 aggravated damage because this form with the bite.
Well, she's not happy.
Start draining the blood. Oh, can I initiate a diablerie? Since I bit into her?
She has 6 health.
Oh, yeah, so I just kind of killed her then.
Yeah, you kind of did.
And just started draining the blood, just like...
What,
Nice.
Did I miss?
Weren't you vegan? Shit.
It doesn't count when it's a vampire!
Just saying.
So the form that he's in, it does aggravated damage rather than superficial, so she can't have it. And she only had 6 health, and he did 7 damage.
I'm sorry, I had to step away. The wonderful fireworks sounded like somebody knocking on my front door.
Ours sound like gunshots. Thank you, Baltimore City.
Yeah, well, I'm not looking forward to the 4th. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Anyways, congrats on the kill, I think.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't have rules for diablerie on the screen, do they?
No, it's... I'll look it up and
Yeah.
go through. Just tell me your blood potency and I can figure it out.
3.
Okay.
So as Farkas falls onto this individual, both him and his wolf ripping into her, actually, I will say one of you, either Cornelius or Dex, because Farkas is distracted at the moment, can make an intimidation roll if you would like. Considering this guy is a little shook, considering he just saw Farkas drop down a 7-foot man with weapons for arms and a very old vampire that was probably his master.
Are you intimidating at all there, my friend?
No.
Nor am I. Do you want me to try it?
You don't have to do intimidation. You could try a softer method if you'd like.
Can I try persuasion?
Sure can. How do you want to try and persuade him?
I'm going to say,
See that?
so, are you rethinking your life choices? Because right now you should completely forget you ever saw us and run for your bloody life.
Wait a
What do
minute,
I
do you have
roll?
cloud memory?
I don't have cloud memory. I have compel, mesmerize, and submerge directive.
If I can
Okay.
help by using cloud memory, by God, this would be the perfect time to use it.
'Cause the
I'm just
actual
hoping
command
that
word
I'm
for cloud
persuasive
memory
enough.
is compel. But yeah, go ahead and roll your persuasion and I'll say persuasion and manipulation.
All right, that's gonna be 7 dice. Yes, 7 dice. That's 6, 7. There we go.
But
7
what was
dice.
the resolve of the person?
3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
Her resolve is 3.
6 successes. I'm very persuasive.
Okay. He sort of looks around and just puts the gun onto the desk and puts his hands up and just sort of drops into the chair behind the desk.
Oh, well, that's also a choice to. Yes, just no. Don't you worry, my friend. You're fine. And aren't you adorable?
You sound like a Irish priest giving his last words.
He is shaking. Does not know what to do.
I look from him to Farkas, back to him. I'm a bit surprised myself. Dex, you got what we need in there. I think we may be unwelcome.
He says, for what it's worth, you may have company. There are others downstairs that are attempting to make their way here as well.
Yeah, kind of figured they might. Thanks, though.
Any other ways out of this room?
There's a balcony down the hall on the right.
Yeah, in this room there is not. There is in the next room over, so most of these rooms have balconies.
Okay. I will, however, use cloud memory so he forgets what we look. Well, no, it's actually been far longer than that would work.
Yeah,
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna live with this nightmare. I'm not gonna do anything.
I can fly. Give item. We'll fly away. Then you guys can find another way out.
You're saving your own ass.
It's a good move. Honestly, he's not stupid to do it.
I mean, I could hypothetically, if both of you had ropes, you could like tie them to me, and I can slowly glide us out the window. It's probably going to be dangerous, and if there's something dangerous underneath us, there's a possibility we could drop on it.
While he's saying this, I'm going in the vault to try to find. Unless Dex shows it to me,
Yeah,
looking
I show it.
Oh well.
I got it. Yeah, okay. Fine. But Charles stays with us.
Huh? No. Charles does his own thing. Charles is in charge.
I hate this
I
team.
love that, like, wolves are, like, just dog-like enough to be cute, but also still fucking wolves. So he's probably annihilating the shit out of this corpse with his tail wagging like no fucking tomorrow. Having the time of his life. Like, happy little puppy just fucking ripping into it.
No, isn't that cute? He's a cute little mass murderer. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're
Face covered in blood.
that's adorable.
Yeah, so let's go down the balcony from the other room and close the door behind us so that they see that one's open first and get a nice view of that.
Yes, let's indeed. Let's get the hell out of here.
Okay.
I'll hand over the jar.
I will say easily enough with you guys spending at least 2 points of your scheme points, you can say that you had rope or grappling hooks or some such way to get down from here. And as the last of you descends out of the window, possibly as Farkas jumps off the balcony, looking back, you can see a crowd of what looks like ravenous, blood-covered other kindred coming up the stairs, pursued by a handful more of those gold guards, chasing after what looked like they would have been going towards where the vault is, but then see you guys and crowd out onto the balcony to watch as you guys make your way off onto the grounds. You do still see a couple of those individuals in with the flashlights going around. How would you like to avoid them?
I believe I can just slip into the shadows, can't I?
Yeah, you have obfuscate.
No. I'm thinking. God damn it, I'm thinking of my
The other
Malkavian.
character.
Yeah. Damn it.
You can
I do
just
have some stealth.
hide
Yeah.
the traditional way. Or you guys can say fuck it and try and run for a getaway.
I
Before-
fly towards our cars.
I was about to wait. No. Our cars are the cars we saw earlier, the expensive ones.
They're all parked in the same area.
Because that's kind of what I was thinking. One extra heist before the end of the night. I want to go after those cars, but I want to try and sneak over that way.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your stealth.
Yes. Just
What
stealth.
about the rest of you? Are you guys going quickly or quietly?
I think that seeing as the horses were let out of the barn because it was on fire, I'm going to see if I can't find a wayward horse who may not be completely watched and ride off into the night on horseback.
Nice. Okay.
Shadow effect.
Gliding. Meet at this location if we get separated.
I think that we would
Don't text him live. There's a light pole in your way.
Oh!
So weird and hilarious about imagining fucking man-bat texting while flying. There's just something inherently funny about that image.
It's true.
So stealth and dex.
Oh, I get Dex on top of it?
Mhm.
Yay, because that was just 2 out of the 3, but I get 2 more dice. Holy shit.
You can also rouse the blood to get the blood surge if you needed to.
I don't need to with both dice rolling 10s.
There you go.
Yay.
So, you easily enough slink off into the night and make your way over to the garage. Jesus, these rolls are shite. And can easily enough either jimmy the lock or melt your way into it. And inside the garage, it is filled with smoke. It is not pleasant, but you don't need to breathe, so it's not that much of a problem. And can make your way to one of the vehicles and attempt to... Fuck, it's in their locked garage. They would probably have the keys in here.
I feel like we're wrapping up, and I would love to burn all 3 of my scheme points for one epic moment.
What do you want?
There's an electronic lock hacker that people have that can pick up the signal from when you're wirelessly unlocking and locking your vehicles.
Mhm.
I would love to say that I had that going earlier in the night, and I just press it to figure out which one of the cars I got.
Sure. Cornelius, as you head over to where the horses are, you can see that there is a single ghoul there watching them as the chaos unfolds inside, of shouting and yelling, and what looks like a vampire jump off that balcony and come bolting toward you guys. What do you want to do? You can either just grab a horse and fucking run for it, or you can attempt to sweet talk the school.
Lure him in front of the garage real fast.
Oh.
Beep, beep, motherfucker.
How close is the garage, like the door that the car would come out, to where I see him?
It's not within walking distance, but if
Okay.
he has a car running, within a couple seconds, especially if it's one of those sports cars.
Oh, so I could potentially put this gentleman in the path?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I am going to, I come up and I say, "Oh, thank goodness. There's someone, I just saw the fellow from the balcony, and he's about to come out the front of the garage. He thought he could sneak around. Quick, over here!" And I, like, grab him by the shoulders and try to move him in the direction in
Okay.
front of the garage.
Roll a manipulation and subterfuge.
Oh, gosh, let's see. Manipulation, that's
think he
4.
said it's-
Subterfuge, so that's 6 dice.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dice. Come on, baby. All right, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4 successes out of 6.
Okay. Yeah, you easily enough sway him. He starts to run over towards where the balcony is, fumbling with like a set, or over where the garage is, fumbling with a set of keys, leaving you with the horses.
I take the one that is the most blackest of night to blend,
Mm-hmm.
and
Gorgeous.
I'm going to just take him by the muzzle and nuzzle him and say, "You and I are going to be best of friends, at least for tonight." And I'm going to climb on and ride into the darkness.
Okay. It's a little skittish of you just because you are a kindred and animals typically aren't the most receptive. But considering it is away from the loud shouting and the fire, it doesn't seem too perturbed. And you guys in your various escapade on your various vehicles can make your way off of the grounds of the castle. Cornelius on horseback first, followed by Farkas in the sky, and then the peal of tire wheels and crash as Dex makes his way out of the vehicle, over a goal, and down the driveway. And then a few heartbeats later, the wolf running behind.
I was going to say I swerve and try to miss the ghoul,
Oh,
but I won't. That was set up too well. I won't miss it.
Climb over and roll down the window. Sorry.
and make your way. We'll say you guys make your way out of here back to the little ramshackle haven you guys have cobbled together to hide out for the evening. And eventually you make your way back across the states in the private plane he hired for you to the city of Chicago to deliver it to the Prince Kevin Jackson, who rewards each of you with 2 dots of resources on top of whatever you have. So some of you are
Aha,
very
2.
wealthy for the moment.
I'm
On
just
top-
like, what? Thousands of dollars? What good is that? Dog's like, you can use that as a medium of exchange. Really, Chuck? Oh, cool, man.
On top of everything, I'm just seeing this hacker with this expensive fucking sports car in the cargo of this plane with the fucking dagger sitting beside them, just flying back to the States going, I'm really glad we got that jar for that fucker.
Good thing we know how to go to TSA. I hear they're tough when it comes to bringing in artifacts, and that's your Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
Next time, can we try to make it through at least dinner? I was actually having a wonderful conversation with this fellow, and I thought I might get, a snack beforehand, but unfortunately, there was a fire. I mean, that's just surprising, but what are you going to do?
Shoddy construction.
Before we
Yeah.
started.
You know, for
Pardon?
some reason, I'm not hungry anymore.
I am completely surprised by that. I'm a bit peakish, but doing fine.
I'm actually surprised you did not get the
3
reference
times
for this
potence.
one, Sage. This is Lady Dimitrescu's castle from Resident Evil Village.
Oh no! With you blocking most of it, I wasn't really
Yeah.
familiar. It's just the misty background in the castle, at least the right
Yeah.
half of the castle, immediately made me think of
Just
Ravenloft.
the creepy castle, opulent art inside, lady ruler that unfortunately did not really get the chance to turn into a creepy abomination.
So
I rolled back a little bit on the body horror because I didn't know how we didn't have the conversation about how comfortable you guys would be with it. So I'm like, I'll not do that because the Tzimisce are very much known for some real nasty.
They got a place
horror.
called the Cathedral of Flesh. That's all you need to know about it.
Isn't that the one I got in that quiz? Isn't that what I was supposedly going to be?
Yeah.
Kat,
Yes.
when you were introducing the white lady to us,
Uh-huh.
I was thinking, wow, this is so much like Lady Dimitrescu. It can't be Lady Dimitrescu.
It
Or, I'm sorry,
absolutely
Dimitrescu.
was her, yeah.
And I'm reeling at the stupidity. It's like, oh my God, that's exactly what she was throwing in
Yeah,
our
'cause,
face,
like,
despite the gauntlet comment I made earlier.
Because like I talked about it with Kevin because I found the prompt for this, the concept of like the group is going in to steal a 1,000-year-old artifact or whatever, and I don't remember what Kevin or I said about it, and I was debating what clan the person would be that owns it, because I felt like Ventrue was kind of on the nose, and he's like, you could have him be Tzimisce and be all body horror and creepy and oh wait, that's basically Resident Evil, and I'm like, I love it. I'm gonna do it.
Sold.
Nice.
Very nice. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed
This
this.
was a lot of fun.
Yes, very much so.
Mhm.
This was a good time, though.
It was
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. Alrighty. Ciao.
Thank you for hosting.
Thank you so much.